nice. There's a fun little, remember when my hair was long? That was cool. I'm trying to get it back. Cool. Let's hop right into it. Don't have a lot of time, right? This is gonna be like Fran when it comes to a presentation. So I want to get into, we all hit so many obstacles, so many road bumps when owning an affiliate. We saw that with the hot seats, right? So many different things that we run into, and one of the things that I want us to make sure that we have our thumb on as we push really hard to grow is making sure that we know how to maintain and scale our culture, right? Our culture is what makes us unique. It's what allows us to stand out. And as we grow, it's one of the #1 reasons why we're afraid to pass things off to people, right? We want to wear all the hats, but we can't, even though we try. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we develop a team. We've talked a lot about that. You guys got a really cool leadership. For those of you that did Coach Dev today, you dove into leadership styles. And it's important for us to make sure that we, as we develop our team, that we have the right people on our team, because the right people are going to be the extension of us. So that we don't have to be there from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. and work 14-hour days for forever and ever. You might do it for a little while, but it doesn't last, right? So we need to make sure that we have the right people on our team in order to protect our culture as we grow. And that means that sometimes we're gonna have to say no. It's actually my favorite word. It's beautiful, it's punchy. I love it, right? No. No to the wrong people, because the wrong people are gonna make it challenging for you to maintain, definitely not grow, but maintain the culture, right? It's just as powerful as saying yes. So I wanna talk to you today about how we at Odin make sure that we maintain and are able to scale our culture, and we make sure that we have the right people on our team. And we're gonna talk about the 4 main steps that we take. These are really, really simple, but they're not always easy. So Tosh talked today about like doing really challenging things. This is gonna be a challenge, I understand that, but if we can focus on these 4, we should be good to go, right? So first off is gonna be defining our non-negotiables, right? We need to know and define what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to, right? What are we not gonna tolerate on our team? What are the hard no's? Those no's are just as important as the yeses, right? So we're gonna get into the non-negotiables that we have at Odin. They are very clearly defined. We're gonna look at them as red flags and green flags. I know, really original, but you know, it works. So first, non-negotiable, red flag, this is a hard no, are misaligned values, right? So what does that look like? That means that this is someone who thinks that it's just a job, right? They don't actually see or believe in the mission that we have. It's not changing lives, it's I'm coaching a class, right? Ego-driven, these are the people that are more concerned about where the barbell is in relation to the pull-up bar and how quickly they get through it than they do about the people that are around them, right? Energy vampires, these are the ones that kill me. These are the guys that come to class and they whine and bitch and moan and complain about everything, right? They just suck the vibe, suck the energy, right? They can't see any positive in any situation. I'm out. They actually ruin a class for me. All talk, no action. These ones can be tricky. They can be really sly, hard to see at first, right? They say all the right things, but they don't actually follow through. And then resistant to feedback. This is a hard no. If you're not willing to take feedback, coaching in class, outside of class, if you're not willing to learn and want to grow, we're not willing to work with you. Hard no. So I want you to look at it like this. Hiring the wrong person is like inviting a termite into your home. It's just a little guy, no big deal. It's just one person, right? But over time, they'll start to erode at your foundation, and part of your foundation is your culture. It's what makes you special. It's what allows you to stand out. It gives people that feeling of like, I don't know why I love it here so much, but I do, right? Sometimes they even bring friends, and then they start eroding the foundation really freaking quick. Right? So we're gonna keep those out. So we've got our no's, right? So what about our yeses? Like, what are we looking for? We have to define that. If we don't know what we're looking for, it's really hard to find it. So, team players. I need people who are willing and wanting to support others, whether it's others on the team, members. I need people to understand that if they light someone else's fire, it's not putting theirs out, right? We can all shine. Okay? Aligned values, right? Not only do we need to believe in the mission, but they need to live and breathe our core values, whatever your core values are, right? Our core values, inside and outside of the gym. It's just their lifestyle, it's what they do, right? I need self-starters. I need people who are actually driven. They want to be better. They look around, they see that something needs to be fixed, changed, picked up off the floor, whatever. They just do it because they know it needs to be done. Coachable, right? Resistant to feedback, hard no. That means I need coachable. I need people who are hungry to learn and get better. Hey coach, look at this. Love that. And then culture carriers. Right? These are my people that can rally the troops. They're magnetic, they're sticky. I need those, because that means my members will follow them. Right? So we've got our yeses and we've got our nos. So then we literally make a list of those people. Again, sounds so simple, right? Your yeses, they don't have to have all the yeses, right? Some of the yeses they can grow into, but if they have yeses, and there's no red flags, put them on the list. I don't care what they do for a living. I don't care how much time they have on their hands. Just put them on the frickin' list because you never know. Right? Now, sometimes you're gonna have people come to you and they're not on your list or maybe not on your radar, right? And in those cases, we need to see if they could be on the list. Right? Do they meet the non-negotiables, the yeses and the nos, right? So sometimes we need to test for culture, right? And so I want to talk to you about two members that we have at Odin. For the sake of the story, we'll say like Chris and Sally, right? Both came to us and said they were interested in coaching, but they weren't necessarily on our radar, right? So Chris loves CrossFit. CrossFit 6 days a week, always in the gym, right? Never misses a day. She actually got engaged during the open, you know, one of those. Yeah. Yep. Has her L1 and works part-time, plenty of time on her hands. Okay? Then we got Sally. Sally's newer to CrossFit. You know, like quickly fell in love with it. She's like, this is cool. Okay, I like this. She does not have her L1. And she travels a lot for work. She actually works on tugboats. She's a tugboat engine operator. Super fancy. Really rad job. So we got these two members, they want to be coaches, or they want to actually have a conversation, right? So Chris comes to us, hey coach, you got a second? I want to like talk to you about something. Cool. I think I might want to coach. I'm like, okay, cool. We have a little conversation, right? And then I grab a book off the shelf. I'm like, hey, read this book. Right? Once you've read this book, let me know. We'll sit down, we'll have a further conversation, we're happy to chat. She's like, fucking book. Okay. Like I want to coach CrossFit. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Read the book. Off she goes. A couple weeks go by, hey coach, I still want to talk to you about coaching. I'm like, cool, did you read the book? She's like, nah. I'm like, cool, read the book. Read the fucking book, right? She's like, she goes, oh, right? Off she goes, little hair flip and everything. I was like, oh, God. Red flag after red flag. I was like, well, that just worked out perfectly. You just showed me a lot of things, right? She doesn't want to learn. She's definitely not coachable. She's not a self-starter. Definitely not a team player. Guess what we never did? We didn't even have a conversation, right? We didn't even sit down and talk about coaching at that point. She realized I wasn't going to budge, and she wasn't willing to read a fucking book. Okay, cool. Off she goes, problem solved. I didn't even have to say no to the wrong person. Like at that point, she said no herself. Great, love that. So then we've got Sally. Same thing. Sally, hey, I wanna you got time after class? Yeah, go. Talk. Like, hey, read this book. She's like, oh, okay, cool, thanks, coach. Off she goes, right? A couple weeks, hey, I read that book. I see why you wanted me to read that book. It was really cool. I'd love to talk more about it. You got it. You got my time. We sit down, we have a great conversation, so guess what we do? We start an intern, right? She doesn't have any education in CrossFit. She just comes to class. She doesn't have her L1. But culturally, you're my people. So what do? We teach her. We get her L1. We teach her what she needs, the skills that she needs to coach on the floor. She's a great coach. Our members love her. We needed to test to make sure that they were the right fit, right? Hire slow, fire fast. Hire slow doesn't mean that it takes you a year to hire someone. Hire slow means that you have an intentional hiring process, right? You don't just hire Chris because she has an L1 and has time on her hands, right? She would have been the wrong fit for us. We would have butt heads bad, right? Fire fast. Chris was fired before she even started. Cool, perfect. Don't waste my time, right? So what I want you to remember is that culture starts with you, and as you grow, you cannot be everywhere at all times. You just can't. A lot of you are feeling that. Hot seat after hot seat, right? You have to develop a team, but we have to develop a team with the right people. So I want you to make sure you have an intentional process about that. You need to determine what your yeses and your nos are. Be willing to say no to the Chris's. Be willing to say yes to the Sallys. And Sally, actually, a lot of you know Sally, really original. Her name is actually Molly. Yeah. But Molly is now our GM. She works full-time for us, running a team, and I get to be here today because we said no to Chris, people like Chris, and we say yes to people like Molly. I know right now our gym is crushing. And it's crushing because we have people that are an extension of Jason and I. Right? But we have to be willing to say no. So, I leave you with this. I love this quote. Hire for passion and intensity. There's training for everything else. Hire according to your non-negotiables. Be willing to teach people, your coaches. You know how to teach. There's progressions for learning everything, right? Be willing to teach people. Be willing to say no to the wrong people so you can say yes to the right ones. Thanks, guys.